Hi guys, I'm Mike. Welcome back to our Porsche restoration project. In this video, we're going to take a close-up look at the restoration process of our original wheels, where to send them, what kind of results you can expect, and then also we're going to take a look at some modern technology, vintage tires, which are going to go on these wheels after we're done with the restoration. So what I've got here is the very first wheel that I sent off to have rechromed. It's kind of a test or an experiment to see, what kind of a result we might expect based on the condition of my wheels. They weren't too bad, but really not good enough condition for any kind of show and shine, whether it be a spare tire or whether we're all the way around on the car. Didn't really know what to do with them. I should just put them in a box or store them, or maybe we can do something with them. But based on the result of this wheel, yeah, we went ahead and had the other four done. So what Stockton does is at their facilities, once they receive the wheel, they completely strip off all the old chrome and coatings that are on there, all the rust all comes off. And then they cut out, they actually cut this center out and remove it. They cut the welds, then they get in there with polishers and detailers to get all the rust, the pitting, the imperfections out. They can get that in there that they can't get in a way if the wheel is put together. So needs to go to a wheel specialist to do that because they have the tooling to put the wheel back together, to true it up, put it in a jig, and then re-weld it from behind, which is really what you want. Yeah, and the result on this wheel, finish of chrome is outstanding. The prep work they put into it is just unbelievable. So really, really happy. First, before we get started on the rest of the restoration, let's take a close-up look. I did a small video clip before and after this wheel came back, comparing it with the other four wheels, the condition that they were in. Also a couple of pictures I can show you before we sent them off, and then we'll take a look at them as they came back and see what that chrome finish looks like. It's really outstanding. Okay, I'm getting ready to package up these wheels and send the remainder of them off. So this is the condition up close. You can see the original chrome and some of the rust pitting coming through is lifting the chrome. Overall condition of the wheel, though, very good. It's not bent. It's not completely rusted out. It just really needs to be rechromed properly. The only way to do that is to take the wheel apart, polish out all the defects, then put it back together, true it up, and then rechrome it. So, and compared to our new one coming back, look at the difference in that. And the chrome on this thing is just awesome. Beautiful, beautiful job from Stockton Wheels. And then you can see the inside. They're really cleaned up nice compared to the inside of this guy. Okay, let me get 4 of those boxed off. We'll send them off and see what they look like when they come back. Okay, so we got our wheels back from Stockton. Let's take a close-up look and see what that finish looks like. And then we'll talk about what we can use to put the coating on the inside of the rim and also the inner wheel. I'm using a POR 15 coating in there. I do this after the wheels come back. A little bit of prep work involved to get that on there. We'll go through that here in a minute. But yeah, all these wheels, just beautiful. There's no residual pitting on any of them. I don't see any sanding marks from their polishing out process. And chrome finish is just amazing. All 5 wheels look exactly the same. Same color, same smoothness, same luster. Okay, so then we have a hubcap situation. So what do we do with hubcaps? The biggest issue I've seen when cars are restored is the hubcap color really doesn't match the chrome wheel color. Typically these are a lot more yellow. You'll look in some of the pictures online, you'll see these are a lot more yellow in color than the wheel itself. And so I thought, well, if I get new hubcaps, probably I'll have to send them out and have them chromed to catch up. But coincidentally, yeah, the color on these particular ones is such a close match, and they look so nice. I don't think I could get closer if I sent them in and had them re-chromed. So we're going to go with those as is. And here's what I use to replace them. These are made by Dansk, their classic line. Part number there. I bought these on eBay. I do a lot of shopping on eBay. Sometimes you can find a vendor on there, does a real nice job for you, and good service, so real nice parts. So here's the condition of our original hubcaps, and we can't really use these or repair these properly because you can see the dents in there, well, dents and dings. The problem with these is the shape, so you can't get any tooling in there really to press out those areas and take out those imperfections that'll be in there. There'd be no way to really smooth that out. So a mediocre result at best. And then our chrome badges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send these in. These are originals. I'm going to send those in and have those rechromed. And hopefully those come out nice. The difference between the original badges and the newer replica badges is going to be the definition. So the dots in here on the originals are a little bit smaller, and the Porsche logo is a little bit more defined. And your newer replica badge, everything is a little bit more bold, a little bit bigger dots. But we'll see how those come out, and then we can decide after that whether we can use them or not. Okay, guys, there they are. Let's pull this other rim up here. Let's take a look at that and go through the POR 15 process. So we have some options to finish the restoration on this wheel as far as the gray coating goes. I'm going to use a POR 15 only because I like the look of the finish. It's very durable, and I think it's going to wash up nice. So, even if we use the wheels and we have brake dust on there, I think they're going to wash up nice. If you use a primer or a gray paint, the problem with that, if you spray it directly on here, it's going to scratch off. It's not really going to stick very well. And that's going to be the same also for our POR 15 if we don't properly prep this. So what we got to do, I take it outside. I'm going to use a gray ultra-fine Scotch-Brite pad. We're going to sand up the inner wheel where we're going to put our coating, and then also we're going to sand up the inner wheel. But we got to be careful not to get any of that sanding dust or any sanding bits anywhere near our finished chrome, as that would scratch it immediately. So we're going to set up outside in a real safe manner, show you how we go through that, properly clean the wheel, and then bring her back in and go through the POR 15 coating. Yeah, a little bit windy out here, so please bear with me. So Scotch-Brite pad, I'm just going to take it down in there, right up to this edge. We're not going over this edge. You can, but I'm not going to. Rough it up real good. You can see you get a nice satin finish on there. Once you have that, that's going to work. It'll stick to that. That's equivalent to about 600 grit. Chrome doesn't like to be sanded. It's very, very hard. Easy to scratch, but hard to sand. Okay, I'm going to blow it off with an air hose and then get a new towel for the other side. Or replace this towel. Okay, here we go. Okay, got a nice satin finish in there compared to our nice shiny surface out here. Okay, now we're going to wash it up on a very soft mat. Okay, so now we're going to wash off all the sanding residue. So we want to use dishwasher soap only, no car washing soap, because it might have silicones or some kind of waxes in there. Rinse it up real good with a microfiber rag. That way we have no lint. And we're going to rinse it thoroughly, blow it off, and dry it with a microfiber rag. Okay, we're going to let that dry out in the sun for a good hour. Make sure we have all the water out of this area in here. And we'll take it in and work with it. Okay, back inside, ready to finish her up now. So what I want to do before I start painting, I want to take some black seam sealer. I think I've showed you this earlier on one of my earlier videos. This part number on this guy, seam sealer by Sim. And this works really good. I'm going to lay a little bead right down in here in between these welds just to clean that up and give us some nice definition there. When we put our coating on there, everything flows real nice. And then here's our PRR15. You can see I've used this can before. And once you've used it, it kind of skins over. Really hard skin too, so when you break into it, you have bits and pieces that contaminate the rest of the PRR15. So this is why I always strain before I ever put a coat on. Good straining, cleans up real nice, and you're good to go. And then also I'm going to be applying this with this, my favorite Worcester brush. This is an 1.5" angled sash brush, and this is going to work the best for all the detail, cutting the edge in and just doing a real nice finish. A cheap throwaway brush will definitely not work to get good results on this wheel. Okay, let's get this thing caulked, and then we'll start by painting this outside edge first. Okay, here we go. So the trick with this stuff is not to apply too much. And here's what's nice about this angled sash brush. You can just lay it right in there. Get it right to that edge. And don't be too concerned about what the brush strokes look like. You're going to have to put 2 coats on. Anyways, the main thing is that you just get a nice coat on there. However you need to get it on there. By patting it or brushing it. But it will flow out 100% anyways. This coat is going to take anywhere from 2 to 5 hours to dry before we put our next coat on. Once we get it where we want it, then we just knock it down and keep moving. Alright. A couple minutes and you're through one coat. The whole trick here, just not put too much on there. Just get enough on there to get coverage. Let it flow out. And then it's going to look real nice. So what we want to do now is we want to set this wheel. Let's just say it's valve stem up. Okay, so valve stem is up. We're going to leave it there for about an hour. And then we're going to flip it over to valve stem down. And the reason we're going to do that is so when the PRR15 starts to drain, it could create some drip. So what we want to do is we want to offset the gravity effect by flipping it back over, kind of self-leveling, equalize itself out. Otherwise you could have some problems with runs with this stuff. Okay guys, so time for the second coat. So it's been about 3.5 hours. And that's at about 73 degrees. That you can hear that sound. That's the sound you want, and you know it's time to recoat. If it gets too hard, then it's just going to be a smooth drag. You want to have a little bit of traction on there. Then you know it's time. One of the things with recoating on this PRR15, if you go too soon, then the brush and the solvent from the PRR15 will pull up your first coat. That's why your coat's really got to be dry enough to go over the top of it. If you wait just a little bit too long, that window closes. Yeah, then it won't stick at all. It just kind of beads up like water on a waxed hood. Okay, second coat applied. We're going to let that dry overnight before we do this inside. You can only do one side per day because of the drying time. So we're going to let this set up overnight, although I'm going to rotate this for the next hour or so to make sure we don't get any runs in there. You have a better chance of runs on your second coat than you do your first coat, because the second coat, it's just applied a little bit more thicker to get your coverage. All right, inside dried up real nice, looking good. So look how I pulled my finger down on the second coat. It's completely dry. If your first coat is dried this hard, you'll definitely have to sand this before applying your second coat of POR 15, because it won't stick. It'll just beat up and peel right off of there. Okay, let's flip this guy over, get going on the inside. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut in all the detail around these guys here. Just using the tip of that brush to get in there and just get everything coated. And then once I have all these areas completely detailed out, then I'll go ahead and fill in the perimeter areas. And then also this inside edge here, this is best done pulling it this way. You just kind of have to move the wheel around a little bit as you're getting through it. All right, let me finish that guy up, and then we'll work on the outer perimeter. Now working towards the outside. So we're starting from the center and then working outwards and upwards, always leaving the wheel in this position throughout its drying process. It's going to work the best. If we flip it over, you could get runs in it, or if you stand it on its edge, you get runs in it. That's going to be the best position for curing it out. And then same thing on these guys. I'm just taking the brush right up to the edge, just pushing it right to the edge there, and being careful not to push any over the edge, because what will happen, it'll run through that opening, and then you'll have to clean it off, and also it'll run out to the other side. So first getting on everything, and then we'll go back and knock it all down. Then once we have the bottom coated out, then we'll go ahead and start working upwards. This part goes pretty quickly. And also very easy to do this part. All right, let's finish that out and see what she looks like. All right, got through our first coat there. So that's about 15 minutes to do that. Also, putting the brush in a baggie between coats will keep your brush in good condition for use of next time. And then we want to check it on the other side. We want to look in all these areas, anything here that might have a run coming through. Paper towel, a little bit of lacquer thinner on the edge, and we can just wipe it if there's something there. Also in this area, anywhere where we had the paint, you want to get that off of there before it dries, because POR 15 is not forgiving. That dries, it's going to be very difficult to get that off without damaging the wheel. So just look it over real good, make sure everything's out of there, and you'll be in good shape. Then finishing up our second coat, smoothing it out. And then what I'm going to do over the next couple hours, I'm just going to lean it up on its other side just to check these areas to make sure we don't have any runs coming through there at all. So make sure that's clean. Once POR 15 gets firm enough, then we're kind of out of the danger. That's going to take a good hour to get there. And then one last look at our other four before I box these up and take them over with our tires and get them mounted. Beautiful finish, that POR 15. All right, let's just take a quick look at our tires here before we take everything over and have them mounted up. So what this is a classic Pirelli Cinturato tread pattern in a modern tire construction. So this would have been the actual tire size and tread pattern used on this car back in 1967. These are 165-15s. I purchased these from Lucas Tire in Long Beach, California. Purchased them online, had them to me in one day. Real reasonable on price and also shipping charges. So if you're looking for a set of classic tires, I really recommend Lucas Tire. I'm going to put a link to them down below so you can check them out when you have a moment. Yeah, real great source for classic tires. Okay, let's get these guys loaded up. Let's take them over to the tire shop and have them mounted up. Okay, all cleaned up, ready to go. Let's just take a quick look at a couple details. First details inside the wheel here on our mating surface where it's going to meet up against the hub. I think what I'm going to do in a couple weeks when that tightens up, I'm going to run a fine grit orbital sander with a hard pad over that just to kind of machine it down, make sure we're really flat. POR 15 can have a tendency to get a little bit thick, and we just want to make sure it's sitting flat on the hub. The other detail is the center of the wheel. You notice I haven't painted this area out. For now, I'm just going to pass on that. I can always do it later. I just think the chrome looks so cool. I just can't bring myself to do it at the moment. Also, POR 15 is not really going to be the best product for in here because it's so thick. You could lose your definition in your date codes and all your other embossings. So I'll probably spray those out should we decide to do it. All right, guys, we're finally ready to build this car. I'd like to say a special thanks to Jacob over at Discount Tire for being extra careful and doing such a nice job. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.